Does my hair look okay? Because, you know, I can't even see too well.
No, you look beautiful.
Oh. I'm Dorothy Patach.
Full of history, a good Yahtzee player, and just a really a fun, dedicated person to UNMC and to the community.
Yes.
Basically, I've kind of divided my life into 4 careers. 1, family and friends, community activities, nursing clinically, and then academics, and basically science and nursing.
Yeah.
I am full-blooded Bohemian, but back in those days, they came from Austria-Hungary. My grandparents came to the United States in the late 1800s, 1880 to 1888. But they came from the nation that was called Bohemia at that time. And now, of course, it's called the Czech Republic. That was my background of my culture. But as far as living in the neighborhood, we were very diversified where I lived. We had Bohemians, we had Germans, we had Russians, we had Irish, Hispanic. South High School, of course, was the main high school, always a large high school, very diversified, never had any problems. Everybody was human, everybody was the same. But as far as Omaha, Nebraska, and South Omaha in its own, I don't think we really had much problem with diversity. The people that were not educated beyond elementary school basically went to work for the packing plants. Some were able to do more than that. They took education later and became more. Some have gotten PhDs that actually their whole family was basically only packing workers, and they started as packing workers and did it part-time. Actually, excepting for my nursing, I did all of my education beyond that part-time too. I never missed a day of work. So that when I took my tests in high school as to what I was probably best at, I came out doctor, dentist, nurse, teacher, housewife. You know where a housewife was. The bottom of the list. I will say one thing that was later on. I was still going to college, and I was coming down the hall of a building where my father was standing and talking to some of his friends, and they said, "Here comes that educated daughter of yours. By the way, when is she going to quit going to school?" I heard my father said, "You know, I don't care how much education she gets, as long as if she happens to become a widow, she can take care of her own kids. And then just don't become an educated fool." So I've tried to not become an educated fool. And by that, he meant too academe and not enough of what's happening in the general world.
Yeah.
And I think that is basically, it goes way back to my parents' days too. My father and mother were basically the youngest in the neighborhood, probably the most educated. And they also knew their way around politically. For the time we had commissioners, instead of city councilmen, we had commissioners to have to turn to, and we worked with them in order to keep things going and keep things clean, and it was a constant battle. So basically, it goes way back into my parents' days of seeing them doing it. And then the neighborhoods got to the place they got used to my parents doing it. So then my father dies rather young, 53 years old, and I'm only 23 years old. So I had to take over for him, and basically my mother's health wasn't the greatest, so I never let her push herself too hard on doing a lot of things, so I basically took it over. The area that I lived in, 19th and N, was basically in a valley filled with a lot of ravines around us. And by a ravine is a hole, hollow, that it was empty. And consequently, when we started to grow, people, instead of digging a hole and burying their junk and their garbage, they just started throwing it over the hill. And I hate to say it, but the one that was right in front, one that has my name on it now, would even get people from Sarpy County. They would come not knowing where to throw it, and it was so close to the street, it was easy to go flingo out of the car.
Yeah.
Until we got basically all the holes closed up. The Boys Club is on a big ravine that's been filled, if you know where that is, on 21st and O Street.
Yeah.
That was a ravine. The back end of 20th and N Street to O Street was a big ravine right along Collins football field. That was a big ravine in there. We got that all closed off. There was alongside of this Carroll Mineral Springs, a soda pop factory, which was really 18th Street. That was a big ravine. We got that closed off. And the one that carries my name, actually people lived there. In the environmental area, some people who do not really want to worry about the environment, you always got a few of them. Mm-hmm. But the biggest thing is it's a very expensive area to work with, and the lack of funds and getting people to help you do it. In response to this land that we had in front of us on 19th Street there that carries my name, my mother and father and myself, my mother and father basically went over with a scythe and a sickle and cut along the curbing so that it would look neat and keep the weeds down until we got the Gishes. The Williamses didn't want to do it. But when we got the Gishes, they started taking care of it themselves then, because that was a way down to their place, and they started taking care of it. And then when Joe Tess put that pond in there, why, with a little encouragement of calling them and saying, the weeds need to be cut. Getting people to take pride in the neighborhood is really the biggest environmental problem down there. But this year, Community Gardens, they want to teach people how to take care of themselves, and I really believe that. I think if we had a real disaster, I think half the people wouldn't know how to feed themselves. Mm-hmm. Planted this year, from what I gathered, they got the seedlings from Creighton University's botanical garden, mm-hmm. and anybody can go down there and take it if they want to. I just hope that those who do help take care of it too.
Just that she's got a wonderful heart, and people really look up to her with all of her history and her experiences in Omaha, and being a real leader in encouraging people to take leadership roles and to be involved in government, and of course in education.
And just push until you get what you need. Don't ask for a lot of things quickly to be done, because the city just doesn't move that quickly. So try to plan ahead. If you would like to have a park, in some area, find out if it's needed. Who would use it? What do you want put in there? Get as many people to help you do it, and get a say, as many people as they can. Because that's really what's more important, to meet the needs of the people.